What up, y'all? It's me, your boy, MTR. First and foremost, shout out to everybody who wrote comments down up in my last video. Y'all said that you wanted me to go on more rants and talk about things that are happening in and around my space. And here's the thing, I never thought about this really before doing a type of video like that. You may benefit from some of the things that are going off in my life, hearing it from my perspective and the lessons that I have learned. So we're going to continue on doing these videos and continue on talking about it. But I recently just fired a fucker for my team, so I want to be able to talk through that as well. And hopefully the editor takes out that F word, because I try not to get angry at this stuff, especially at this stage of life, because I have so much to be happy for. I have so much that has benefited me through the tutelage, through the value, through the education, through my investments that I have put into my life right now. And I've made so much good decisions. And oftentimes I will continue to be angry at different things that I shouldn't be that angry about. But it speaks to a degree, a little bit of my control freak, which I'm currently trying to work through within my life. But yeah, I wanted to talk through this because I was bamboozled and I was tricked. And I think that me talking through some of this, because it's beneficial to have members on your team, because alone you can go a certain distance, right? But enabling a team around you, one of which you enhance clarity, you create clear decision rights for, oh, you can go far, baby. Okay. So I want to be able to talk about that as well. Also, too, I recently just got back from the gym. I will say that I feel as though I am one of the strongest in my life. And that is not to say from a pure bench press perspective or a pure squats perspective, all right? Because what I just do right now is boxing. And I move quicker than what I've ever have within my life before. And shout out to my current coaches. It's because we focus on core and lower body. I feel like boxing, although, people think of it as a sport of your hands, it is 97% your feet. It is 97% your feet. And I really never understood that, even though I've been doing this for years on years on years. People who can punch the hardest are the ones that move their feet more grounded and with more power. It's your feet, it's your core, it's your hamstrings, it's your glutes, it's your quadriceps, it's all of that. All right, I just wanted to call that out because I posted a little bit of a workout video in the last video, and some of y'all were asking for my workout routine. Your boy currently doesn't lift any weights. I do calisthenics while in boxing class, and I box. All right, so shout out for that particular question. Anyway, before I get into the person that I just tried to fire, I also wanted to take a step back and kind of look at where I'm at right now, okay? And I am at within a place, if I take a look at the particular risks that I've taken throughout my life, specifically this content creation stuff, I never saw this for me, all right? I was a corporate guy. And I, went undergrad at a PWI, went and got my MBA eventually. I thought I was going to be in corporate America through the majority of my career, but I took risk, okay? I took risks. Shout out to viraltovalue.com. All right. This is my internal community as well as my curriculum, where I'm speaking about and teaching the exact systems I use to turn viral content into valuable content. Everybody that's back there in my community right now is focused on taking risks. But I'm going to talk through a sort of negative thing that I experienced in the beginning of this risk taking. And one of the worst is when I would talk to people that I would consider friends with in my life, and we would talk through, what it was that we were doing or what it was that we were up to. They're establishing value by their purpose. I'm establishing value by my purpose. But when I talked about this little thing that I did on the internet, they would reference it as that little thing. Okay. Oh, yeah, you doing this, that, and the third? Oh, yeah, well, I'm still working on this. Oh, you still doing that little thing on the internet? You still doing that little YouTube thing? Now, it's crazy that when I look back on it, now that little thing has turned into not so little. So that little thing was now a big community, now a big audience, now big subscribers, which has helped completely transform and change my life and what I thought that my life would be about, with completely changing my family's life, completely changing the people's lives that look at me and watch me, and they send me emails thanking me. I recently got an email from a young man off of a body cam footage, and he said, "Thank you so much for doing that video. And because of platforms like you, I even know to record the things in and around my space to ensure that I'm getting a valuable outcome off of, the transferring of, his child, right? Or getting his child from his baby mother, right? And I reflected on it. I talked to that young man for a little bit, and I am humbled to be in a position to, talk through this sort of content and the value that it gives other people. But I would be remiss to say that when you initially start something like this and people don't understand what it is that you're trying to do, when you hear comments about that little thing that you're doing, it may impact you. It may drive you to stop doing it. It may make you feel embarrassed to continue forward. And I say this to say is never to put someone else's mindset or outlook on your expectations or your goals or your results, because you're not them. And although they can't see it for themselves, or if they just don't understand it, and it may not even be that it's coming from a negative space from them, but they just don't get it. And if they don't get it, but if you understand that there could be a path towards your success, if you allow little comments like that to get into your psyche, it may cause you to quit before progress will ever come your way. So I say big up and shout out to the Viral to Value community, because all of these people are taking the first step, and a lot of them are actually taking a third or a fourth step. Shout out to all of y'all in putting themselves out there and get it done and cutting through the noise, whether it be through haters, both on the internet or within real life, or people that think that they're helping them by telling them to not do that. Those people may be trying to protect you from a risk that they would never put themselves through. But for you, you have the courage. Now, all right. And also shout out to some of the content creators that are back there. I got one with a little over 90,000 subscribers. Her name is Red Dawn Daily. Guys, feel free to go check it out over there. She's over there doing the damn thing, right? Utilization of some of the systems in order to, make her life a little bit easier over there. All right. But I call her out because what she's currently going through right now is building up a team behind her. And the team that I have built up behind me are monsters in the game right now. But I recently tried to get someone else on the team. And then I found out after several mistakes, that they are not who they say they are. Okay. One of the lessons within Viral to Value is I talk about how I utilize AI to make my life infinitely more easy. When I got up on this platform, all of these tools were not available. So it would cause me to have to work a lot longer, a lot harder, all right, as opposed to now. And utilization of some of these tools, right? Let me give you a brief example. Back when I used to create videos back in like 2020, 2021, sometimes the creation of the video wasn't even the longest part. Sometimes it was the packaging. It was the thumbnail. It was the title. And the combination of those in order to tell a unique story while all doing it on my own. Utilization of AI makes that literally 99% easier, whether it be from a thumbnail or a title perspective. Now, just like there's benefits of AI, there's also negatives of AI. Namely, people can utilize AI to try to scam you, okay? And this is sort of where our conversation about the inclusion of different members in your team is inherently important, okay? And shout out again to Red Dawn, because she's going through some of the rigmarole of getting new folks on her team to help her through her process, all right? Now, hired a young fella, and what I wanted to hire him for is I've created this whole Viral to Value thing, all right? I've gone through and created the perfect curriculum to teach you how to be an online commentator, right? And also the business aspect of everything, right? When it comes to distributing, when it comes to different platforms and how to make money, how to monetize this thing, because I'm not doing this for a hobby. I'm doing this to put food on the damn table, and a lot of it. When you create something like this, the creation of the actual content itself is it's probably like 20 to 30% of the entire battle. Most of this is marketing, is branding, is getting it in front of people's faces, i.e. distribution. Let me give you a brief example of the importance of marketing. And shout out to my 80s babies. Do y'all remember Pet Rock back in the day? Gen Z, you don't know what I'm talking about, right? Unless you've seen a video on YouTube of how ridiculous this product was. Pet Rock back in the day was literally a rock in a damn box. And they would sell pet rocks in toy stores. And these pet rocks made the owners multi-millionaires. And if I remember correctly, each of the rocks had like dumbass stories, right? Like they would come packaged with, but it was literally just painted rocks in a box. They took effectively a shit product, but they had fantastic marketing around it. They had fantastic commercials around it. Oh, I remember the commercials of it. Maybe I'll populate one down up in here. The commercials were fantastic. They legitimately utilized marketing tactics to make their piece of shit product look like a rock star product. Okay? That's the importance of marketing. You can have the best product around, but if nobody knows about it, nobody knows the mission, the vision, what it stands for, then it does not matter. From an acquisition standpoint, right, this is the amount of people that will come through the Viral to Value platform. I'm just really just doing organic marketing right now. I'll talk about them within these videos. And then also I have ads that'll play with some of the videos that, will play on the main YouTube channel and a couple other things here and there. But nevertheless, I also think of a retention strategy. What are the things that I'm doing for the customers of Viral to Value that I'm utilizing to surprise and delight, right? What are the emails? What is the email automations? What is the sequence? What is the branding? What are the things that they see on the inside? What are the touch points with me? What are the things that make them feel accounted for and that their issues are being solved in a timely and a prompt manner? This is where this particular hire was supposed to help. Now, a component of the bamboozling, and some of this is my fault, and I'll go through some of that right now, is that I was so excited. So by this time, I was in Thailand when I released it, okay? And so I'm just sitting up here, I released it. I didn't think anybody was gonna actually hit on the buy line, right? Hit on the purchase line. Silly me, a ton of people started to purchase. They started hitting on that purchase line. So now I was in a mad rush to find somebody to help me from a retention perspective because there's only but 24 hours in a day. Went up online and I actually talk about my hiring process of where I got the majority of my team members. I think I got like 6 or so people on my team at this current junction, maybe 6 or 7, in and out, depending upon, because the last person is a developer, and because I'm actually working on different tools that I can institute within Viral to Value, because I want to build software to help people solve problems on their content creation journey. But I talk about where it is that I'm hiring these folks, how it is that I'm hiring these folks, typical how much money that I'm paying these different folks, right? Information that you get up on the inside. Nevertheless, I was in such a rush to hire a person, I made some critical mistakes. The first critical mistake that I encountered is that I didn't go through a test period. Okay. I took a look at the person's website. I took a look at their portfolio, and I talked with this person one-on-one in like a 15-20 minute interview, and it looked the part, it smelled the part, it ended up not being the part. But I thought that I did proper due diligence, and if I was to do it over again, I would have a trial period, and maybe it's a paid trial period, right? But a test period, a trial period, where I'm giving this person task and I'm watching them work. When you hire contractors like that, you can do that. If you're hiring W-2 workers, right, like who might get workers' compensation or might try to sue your ass because you treat them incorrectly, I don't got to deal with that because I'm hiring international for the majority of the people that are on the team. Nevertheless, I never went through a trial period, and I looked at the bells and the whistles on the portfolio, right? And they utilized different words that I thought were gold standard for the type of job that I was hiring for because of the systems that I'm hiring for this person to interact with. And of course, when I would ask them questions of, with the platform that I'm working on, hey, have you worked with this platform before? Oh yeah, I've worked with this platform before and I did XYZ with it. I never got evidence for that. I just believed this person at face value. But again, it's my mistake. And I was so excited with getting someone back there to kind of help with this whole process that I just allow this one to slip through the cracks. Another thing that this person utilized, and this goes towards not letting different tactics cloud your judgment, is that this person was religious. So I remember one of the first meetings, we had a whole meeting with him and I gave him all these different tasks to do. And at the end of the meeting, he said, can I just pray over you guys? Right? And I was like, yeah, sure. Let's do the prayer. Okay, now, a lot of y'all don't know this, but shout out to my mom. Mom Dukes is a born again Christian. I actually told this story to her, and she was shocked and appalled when I tell you guys the end of the story. She was shocked and appalled that this guy was effectively utilizing religion to kind of cloud the air of what it was that was going on and the fact that he wasn't getting tasks done. But that's really what it was. When it came down to it, this person was on the team for about 5 to 6 weeks. And it got to a point where we'd give tasks to him, okay? He would then say that the tasks were completed, but then I'd go through and have to manually check things, right? Like and the things weren't completed whatsoever. There was about 3 weeks where my actual website was broken, and this guy is on the back end looking at the website, looking at the contacts that are coming in, because there's a lead form. You click on the button, there's a lead form that you can sign up for, right? And that gets you in a marketing funnel. But the contacts weren't increasing for 3 weeks, and he never said anything. He never mentioned anything. Now, if he had the experience that he said that he did, he would have mentioned these different things. But then when it came to different tasks that I would give this person, just would not get it done. And it got so bad towards the last couple of days that this person was on the team, I sat on the phone with him because I'm just like, maybe this just is a communication problem, right? Like, again, trying to figure out every excuse under the book as to why this person is incompetent or insufficient. Maybe this is a communication problem. And I remember talking, right, for about 5 minutes, right? And there was like 3 tasks within the 5 minutes. And then I said at the end of it, can you paraphrase what it is that I said? And this person was unable to do it. And then I said, hey, listen, I talked for this amount of time. How are you documenting what I'm saying? And they said, I'm not documenting anything. And I'm like, well, how are you going to remember everything that I'm saying? And it just flashed that this person was inherently incompetent, not only utilizing kind of this religious angle, because it would always be, have a blessed day. You know, I'm praying over you guys. You know, can we just pray at the end of this meeting? He's utilizing that in order to, right, like substantiate care or progress, right? But it has actually nothing to do with the end result. You know who also does that shit? This is actually a quick aside, but you know, I'm ranting right now. Goddamn Chick-fil-A, okay? Shout out to Chick-fil-A, all right? And and this is my opinion, by the way. I don't want them coming out and trying to sue me. But my opinion is that Chick-fil-A utilizes components of religion, right? We're not going to open up on Sundays because we care for customers and hallowed be thy name, or whatever the that they're saying. Meanwhile, if you go look at the ingredients of a Chick-fil-A grilled chicken sandwich, it's like over 30 different ingredients, including sugar. Grilled chicken, not fried chicken, the grilled chicken. Over 30 damn ingredients, including cancer-causing or cancer-retaining sugar. Absolutely insane, okay? Now, fight with me down into the comments, but I think that that is bullshit that a company like that utilizes this air of religion and doesn't really talk about the ingredients within it. And in fact, if you walked into there and asked some of the people that are working there, hey, what's in these grilled chicken nuggets or fried chicken nuggets or grilled chicken sandwich, most probably don't even know. Probably because, my opinion is because they don't train them on it, probably on purpose. But it's still fast food at the end of the day. That shit is still killing y'all. Stop eating it. And that's my opinion. Nevertheless, I made a grave mistake, right? Grave mistake after grave mistake. Now, I had to pay for that. Now, because of that, the people that I wanted to surprise and delight, there wasn't enough time for me in a day in order to surprise as well as delight them. But I took about 4 days or so to collect myself because I was a bit angry over the situation. But I was really just angry at my mistake, okay? And then I went back on a place that I hired different folks that are on my team, put out another job posting, and the next person that applied actually happened to be female. And I was a little bit hesitant in regards to that, just because, right, like I'm usually just dealing with dudes, right? I get to cuss the way I cuss, I get to talk shit. You know, you look at some of the content on the channel, they're not gonna get upset at the things that I'm saying. But I gave this young lady a shot, and when I tell y'all, now I also I fixed that problem. I did a paid test. When I tell y'all, it is the absolute perfect fit. I'm talking hard worker. I'm talking about excited each and every day. I'm talking about fantastic note taker, getting things done. I'm talking, gave her access to the back end, and she's back in there switching email sequences, and she's over here laughing with all of us about the incompetence of the last coworker because she couldn't believe some of the things that he set it up in the incorrect way that he set it up at. I mean, this guy was sending incorrect emails to incorrect dates to my entire email list. I mean, it was absolutely insane how much this guy was going back up in there and messing everything up. But now I got this new person in there who I've just tested. And actually, a couple of hours ago, I told her that I definitely want you full-time on the team. And she's ecstatic in regards to this, okay? So I say all that to say is that one of the hardest things that I've had to deal with is transitioning from an individual contributor to effectively leading a team, being a people leader. And in fact, when I look at my corporate career, that's what I was for the majority of my time. The last place that I worked at, all right, I was at the highest level. I was effectively director level, but directors had teams. And at my level, You didn't have a team. You were just an individual contributor. And I was right beneath when you turned into executive level. And I knew that in order to go up, I either had to do a cross switch into a people leader role, or I would go straight up, but I would have a team at a higher level. And I always thought that it would be beneficial, or not even beneficial. I always thought I'd be a good people leader. And within that, I've had to try to change into that as I own my own business. So I'm learning additional things on the fly. Nevertheless, I've turned a spoiled rotten egg into some freshly squeezed lemon juice, if you will, okay, at the end of the day. So anyway, I want to rant about that real quick and just tell y'all, what it is that I'm currently going through. Hopefully it helps y'all within y'all day-to-day, as well as you experience different things, within your life. But nevertheless, shout out again to my internal community, the MT Army. But yeah, go down to viraltovalue.com if you guys are interested in getting my blueprint, getting my playbook, right, of the things that I am doing to create what it is that I have done up over here. But this is your boy, SideQuest MTR. For right now, I am out of here. Leave your thoughts, questions, advice down up in the comment box down below. And I can't wait to have future conversations with you guys, all right? Until next time. Peace.
So, without further ado, MTR, cut through the BS like we in charge. No cap with the rappers like steel bars. I'm packing and rapping like here we are. Mediocre tutorial reviews. Like, comment, share my views. Come up and I paid my dues. Big step in my black way shoes. MTR, he break it down, yeah, it's MTR. Check out the sound with his MTR. No one put it down like it's MTR.